Hi, Josh.
Hi, Jay.
How are you?
Fantastic.
So we just moved into our new villa. It's the third location here in Bali in Uluwatu, and it's absolutely stunning.
Stunning. We're finally out of the jungle. It was very, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here.
It really was.
It was very, you could be killed at any moment showering outside by a giant spider or, you know.
Or a gecko, a giant gecko.
Oh my God, there was a giant gecko in everyone's room. There was ants. There was spiders, there was flies.
There was roosters.
There was giant...
There was chickens.
Giant, what's it called? Murder hornets.
Murder hornets.
Oh my God, and that giant cockroach, it was like this big. And everyone was running around screaming and playing Uno, and everyone was like, ah, gays, like fagging around. And then we're like, how are we going to get rid of it? And then Val, tried to get rid of it. And then this giant gecko was just like, ow, got it.
And we've got it on camera as well.
Slay,
Dina.
Ally.
Yeah, I don't think that we realized that when we wanted to go into the jungle and stay in somewhere that was very traditional Balinese design, built out of bamboo, that we would literally be in the jungle.
They would just be jungle themed.
Yeah, jungle themed.
Thought it'd be like the rainforest calf.
And it rained for about 4 days straight. Like, we didn't realize that it was going to be the wet season in Bali when we booked it.
Yeah, the rain, like on the first day, it was like, ooh, this is nice, you know? And then the novelty wore off.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think everyone got a bit sick of it.
We got a little bit of seasonal depression.
Yeah, everyone got
from all the rain.
moody.
Yeah.
There was tension in the villa.
But the sun is shining here. I'm sure you can probably tell on the camera that the sun's out, which is great, making us feel more alive.
Yes, that vitamin D.
And it's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
It's only Josh and I left on the trip. Everyone else has gone home.
Thank fuck.
So, yeah, it's been amazing, and it's been great to have everyone in Bali. But it's also good to just have a little bit of me and you time.
Yeah, it's good to just relax.
Yeah, exactly.
A bit tired, actually.
Yeah. And the house is it feels very Kardashian coded.
Yeah.
It's quite calm.
Very luxury.
Neutral tones. It's gorgeous.
I'm just happy to be shitting inside, you know?
Without any mosquito bugs.
Yeah, exactly.
Biting our ass.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got bit on the arse, I didn't.
I did.
They don't like me.
I think it was the only place I did get a mosquito bite.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we get into it?
Let's fucking get into it. Dig in deep.
So I would love to chat about LPSG. And for people that don't know what LPSG is, it stands for Large Penis Support Group. Did you know that?
I knew that, yeah. But I mean, it should be LS. What? What's that?
LPSG?
No, it should be LS. No, wait. It should be LPS. Wait. No, it should be SPSG, Small Penis Support Group, because all of them clearly have tiny penises, because you wouldn't be spending your free time
well, for people that don't know what it is, it's an online blog
that people
where
just talk shit.
Haters and trolls go online and make up vicious rumors and post unsolicited copyrighted material. So, for example, if we're posting things on OnlyFans or sending dick pics on Grindr or whatever it is, it seems to end up on LPSG.
Yeah, they just literally anyone of interest, anyone of public interest, that's like a hot guy.
Yeah.
Especially on OnlyFans, they will these people sitting in their mum's basements with fucking crisps on their fingers, just typing away on their 1999 Apple Mac computer. Their mum shouting from downstairs, "Charlie, won't you get a job?" You know, and they're just sat
They're
there.
too busy fucking gossiping on LPSG.
Exactly. They're just, I mean, it must be a sad little life, Jane, to have to go online and get your kicks by just absolutely rinsing people online, just making up vicious rumors and just talking about their appearance. I personally would never ever go on someone's photo or go on a blog and say, this person's gross, this person's disgusting, this is the way they look awful, they're fat, they're ugly, whatever. It's just fucking sad. And also, I think it's just so much more of a reflection on them and their lives than it is us.
Yeah.
Because we're just out here enjoying ourselves, making money, having a good time. And their bitterness about that is making them go online and talk shit about us.
Yeah, there were a few years there where I would go and check it because I'd like to see if there's anything online. This was before I had OnlyFans, so I wanted to make sure that there wasn't any dick pics and nude photos of me floating around on the internet and to try to clean it up because you can get it taken down.
Yeah.
However, it just got a little bit too much and overwhelming, and it also started to affect my mental health because you're constantly being paranoid about it.
Yeah.
And I just decided a few years ago to kind of ignore it because it wasn't healthy for my mental state to continue checking it. And I would find that people would make up rumors and narratives about why I'm not dating a certain person anymore, why I'm not friends with someone anymore, just because they haven't seen me post a photo with them on social media.
Or they see you post with one person one time, they're like, oh, they're dating.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I literally met him for like 10 minutes and took a photo. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, LPSG is almost like the tabloids of the people that aren't celebrities or social media personalities, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had people come up to me at the gym here and there and ask, have I checked it recently because there's something written about me? And I'm just like, look, I don't even want to know.
No.
Because at the end of the day, it is fake news. It's not true. And unfortunately, we can't do anything about it.
Yeah. You know what the annoying thing is as well? In London, there's this person on there called like XOXO London or something.
Like Gossip Girl.
Yeah, but it's like, it's someone who is around us.
Yeah.
And that's the fucking...
Like that's close to you.
They're not... I don't think they're close to us because they know stuff, but they don't know like the premise of it or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it's fucking sick and twisted that there's someone like that is in and around our circle that's going on that blog and telling them things that happen or things they hear from my social group. And it's just fucking awful. And I think one of the worst things is my boyfriend is like a really private person. Like he doesn't really have a social media presence at all. He's very private in all his ways. And the worst thing was when, after we got together, people started posting like what they thought his job was and where they thought he lived and everything like that. And it was just like, I had to go on there and just get my whole thread taken down because I was like, you need to just stop this. Like, I don't want my name mentioned. I don't want my name to be able to be mentioned. Just
and it's
like,
an invasion of privacy because people do post our personal phone numbers, email addresses, sometimes our addresses as well. And yeah, I don't know why that's even able to be on the internet. Like it seems like a complete, sham and scam. And
well, I mean, the way the world's going these days, I mean, it's fucking free for all, isn't it?
Yeah, there's like free speech, but like at the end of the day, like we're not celebrities. Like we're not out there in the public eye. We're not actors. We're not pop stars. Like we're just private citizens that do something online. Like everyone's got a social media account. It feels like everyone's got an OnlyFans account these days, but some people cop it more than others.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm not fucking Lindsay Lohan. Why are you so obsessed? Listen, there's no paparazzi taking pictures up my skirt.
Yeah. It's interesting because it does seem like people cop it more than others. Do you check LPSG anymore or do you try to ignore it?
I got my thread taken down and I don't check it after that. People can still mention me because they can mention me in other people's threads, which I hear about sometimes, but I don't check it at all. Like it really fucked with my mental health for a while. When I was with my ex-boyfriend, there was so much drama there and he was posting so much on Twitter and all this shit. So there was so much like back and forth from people of like speculating what's going on. There was also people within our like extended circle that were actually telling people information and stuff like that. And it was just really sick and twisted. And I just would look at it every day and I'd be like glued to it because there was so much drama going on with me and him. I wanted to know whose side people were on. Yeah. It was really stupid because I should.
Like, what was the court of public opinion?
Yeah. And what was the narrative going on? And I really wanted to, I was just like really weirdly and sickly obsessed with like, oh, am I on the right side? Like, are people sticking up for me? And then it was basically no. So I was like, fuck. I think everyone's hated on me for such a long time. And I think it's because I came in the industry and got with one of the biggest porn stars at the time. And he already was the kind of beloved or whatever. And then I was nobody. So as I started to rise to fame and he started to kind of fall out of fame, people just instantly took his side, And then then this narrative of me being a toxic, horrible person came about. And
everybody loves a villain.
Yeah, everybody loves a villain. But no, it's stuck over the years. And every boyfriend I've had in the industry, I've had 3 in the industry, it's stuck, that narrative of me being this horrible, toxic person. When actually nobody knows a fucking thing. Nobody knows my character.
Well, no one knows what goes on behind closed doors either.
No, nobody bothers to know your character as well, really. I think if people just knew my circle around me, you know, I've had best friends from school for 20 years, you know.
Yeah.
You see some of these people that are against me in these kind of dramas or whatever, you see them and they don't have friends and they're just online constantly spewing this toxic shit. It's kind of like fucking Trump at the moment.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, he's amazing. He's this great person when he's just online spewing toxic shit. And there's these other people who are against me, online spewing toxic shit. And I'm not doing that. I'm just kind of basically defending myself and just saying this isn't true and stuff like that. I'm not online spewing toxic hate, but always I'm seen as the bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's just that kind of narrative where the person who speaks the most is kind of the person in the right.
Sorry to interrupt this gorgeous episode, but I couldn't help but say that posting nudes isn't a business strategy, but the ofbizschool.com is. The ofbizschool.com teaches you exactly how to turn your OnlyFans into a money-making machine. Marketing, branding, content strategy, make sense, and dollars. Sign up to the ofbizschool.com, follow the steps, and let's just say OnlyFans will be paying your rent. So if you want to stop struggling and start thriving, go to the ofbizschool.com. Trust me, your bank account will thank you. Now back to the episode. I guess when I started coming up in Sydney or growing my social media following in Sydney, and I was quite active in the gay scene in Sydney, I found that I received a lot of hate through those blogs. It wasn't really comments on my social media, but it was definitely on the blogs. And then I released a podcast in 2019, which went viral and was basically cancelled from the first episode. And I think it was all of the LPSG haters jumping on the bandwagon. And look, I started that podcast with no prior experience or knowledge on what I was doing.
Yeah.
And there was many things and many mistakes that I made during that process. But it really just shone a light on that whole side of the gay community.
Yeah, how toxic
that toxic side of the gay community. And I guess like whether the hate was warranted or not, I think that the magnitude in which I copped it was quite extreme. And there was even ABC wrote an article about it. Daily Mail wrote articles about it. There was like a bunch of different podcasts that picked it apart second by second. And that's also stopped me from doing other podcasts like this before, because I don't really want to get involved in any of that type of stuff anymore, because it not only affects me, but it affects like all of my friends. And it also discourages other people from trying to put content out there, because they look at the kind of hate that you and I might receive.
Absolutely.
And they might not have a thick skin, or they might have mental health issues. And it's fucking scary.
It is fucking scary.
Putting yourself out there like that.
Yeah. I've been in the industry 11 years and I've had every insult in the book thrown at me. Like the most vile, nasty shit that you could ever imagine has been thrown my way. And now I'm just like, I'm able to just be like, water for ducks back.
Yeah.
I really don't care what other people's opinions. Like, they're not paying my bills, as RuPaul would say. And it's just, it's just bitter people. But I think people coming to this industry need to really have a thick skin for sure.
And regardless of whether you're receiving hate online or because you're putting out a podcast or because you're doing porn or whatever it is, at the end of the day, if the people closest to you and your family love you and know what you're about and know your integrity, that's all that really matters. Like, you don't really need to listen to people online that have no idea who you are, have never met you, and really don't give a fuck about you at the end of the day. I find that the people that are jumping on the bandwagon are really just doing it for their own attention seeking.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, it's either that or just bitterness and jealousy.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Neither of us have done anything wrong. This isn't like a pity party at all.
Yeah.
But it's really just highlighting our own experiences and what we've gone through.
Yeah.
I guess another part of it is that there is quite a culture within the industry, within the OnlyFans industry, with online drama, takedowns, feuds. You've been involved in a few.
Oh my God, I have a list. A list?
It's something that I actively avoid, even if there's people out there that are talking shit about me, other creators in the industry that are talking shit about me. I just either block them or I ignore them. I don't want to see their fucking ugly face pop up on my social media account because it triggers me. And I'm not the kind of person that ever wants to step on anyone else or put anyone else down, especially in this industry where it is so fragile, and we should support each other because the type of work that we're doing is quite sensitive, and that if you are trying to destroy someone else's career, there's not many other options. I mean, you can, but like, there's not that many options. Like, you kind of need to like take this and run with it. And I just think, like, they might be saying something about me, but it's not how I want to behave. And regardless of how they treat me, I'm not going to retaliate in the same way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of more like that now, but back in the day,
You've gone through a phase,
I've been through a big phase where I was like fucking Twitter warrior.
Yeah,
I couldn't help but retaliate. I just felt so, I felt so attacked, and I was one of those people, I was like a fucking cornered animal. I needed to like lash out.
Like, you won't even send back a meal if it's disgusting. You won't send back, like, you don't want to rock the boat or make someone feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I just think from knowing you and like your integrity in real life, I can see that you got yourself into those situations online as a form of retaliation and sticking up for yourself, essentially.
Yeah, it was just like I don't know, the unknown. I was just like, I was sort of new in the industry, and I just felt like I had to defend myself.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm established, and I just think, fuck that. If someone wants to talk shit about me, you talk your shit. It's not going to bother me. It's not going to hinder me in any way. It will probably be a reflection on you more than it would be me, to be honest.
And I'm sure many people think that it was maybe orchestrated at times because,
oh yeah,
like many other people in the public eye, drama makes money, drama elevates your career, drama seems to make you more relevant, period. So there's probably people out there that think that it was all fake and orchestrated. But
yeah, even one of the boys on the trip said to me, he was like, that drama was you and your ex. Like, he told me it was all orchestrated and you did it all for attention and stuff. And I was like, I mean, if he wants to go out and say that, go out and say that. I don't care. But yeah, it certainly wasn't. It was me just kind of defending myself, I guess. So have you had any Twitter or dramas with other performers?
Look, I've had people in the industry talk about me to other creators, and it's gotten back to me about things that I may have done in the past that they have no idea about, or just making up stories, or even just spreading rumors that may have happened in Sydney, or, that kind of thing. But it's never really made it online, and it's not anything that I ever want to like bring up or have it out online either. And I actively try to avoid that stuff because, like I said before, I don't want it to be a representation of how other people should behave or like what's okay and what's not. And I have a little bit of a role model complex. Yeah. And I don't want to put something out there and then have other creators that are coming up in the industry look at that and think that that's okay. I'd rather just ignore it and move on and hope they fuck off and leave me alone. And at the end of the day, if people are talking about you, that's okay. Like, I'd be more scared if people weren't talking about me,
Yeah. I don't know about role models, certainly a whole model.
That too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't see that I'm a role model in real life, but I just have a complex that I want to put out things that I would like to see myself or in other people, I guess. Like, treat people the way I want to be treated.
You know what pisses me off is people thinking that we are role models. That's what pisses me off. Like, someone says a nasty comment, like really fucking nasty on Twitter. I comment back something nasty, right? I'm like equally matching them. And then people are like, oh my God, that's awful. You're supposed to be a role model. And I'm like, no, fucking not. No one ever told me that. Like, I'm just sticking up for myself. And then people pile on you for like, commenting back to someone's vicious comment. And then people go, oh, the worst, makes me so angry. They're like, oh, look at you, I've got you so mad. And I'm like, you haven't got me mad. Like, you were mad in the first place. Like, it just fucking makes me fucking angry.
But I think because you have been the kind of person to comment back to people.
I think people do it on purpose.
Yeah, they just try to egg it on because they want the attention and they want to see a bit of drama online because that is entertaining at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'll give them that fucking show.
But I think you've had a kumbaya moment in the last few months and you're definitely a new and improved Josh.
I am sober now.
And likewise for myself, I think that like, especially getting out of Sydney and going on my own journey of self-reflection, growth, running my own business and being completely self-reliant, I've realized that the social gains and the popularity contest doesn't really fucking mean anything. Yeah. And as soon as you leave that environment, you really know who your true friends are.
Yeah.
And all of the social climbers and the bloodsuckers and like all these people that you thought were your friends when you lived especially in a place that has a large gay scene, it all kind of disappears and you realize that it was all just fake. and you move on with your life and you have different priorities. And that's where I am now. I think that's the stage you're in life now.
Getting there.
And that shows that we're getting old.
Yeah.
We're getting on.
Getting on. Yeah. No, I've had some crazy Twitter dramas in the past. Really.
Has any of that drama or online hate ever made you want to leave porn or the industry?
Ooh. Yeah, to be honest, it has. What did I comment on? Like, so this OnlyFans creator, pretty irrelevant now. Him, not the story. When there was the whole Black Lives Matter, I was very vocal on the point, and I think a lot of people were.
Yeah.
And I saw him all the time working with black creators, and he never said a word like about the whole situation through the whole thing. And I just called him up on it. I was like, you're not very vocal on this situation, but you'll work with black creators. And then he texted me and he was like, you better shut your fucking mouth. Like, you go to the States a lot. I could just get one call to the TSA and tell them about your OnlyFans and stuff, and they would ban you from the USA. And I had a boyfriend at the time who was living in the USA, so he knew that. And he was like, yeah, you can never see your boyfriend again and stuff like that. And then he was like, and I bet you don't pay your taxes, which I do. And he was like, I could just call the tax people and give them a nudge and whatever. And I was like, wow, that's fucking evil. Yeah. Like, there's telling me, oh, stop being a bitch online, or I'm going to make you never see your boyfriend again. And
destroy your life.
And destroy your life.
Yeah.
And that was like, I was like, fuck, people are evil. Like, that is just, there's low and then there's fucking lower.
Well, I think because we do share our lives so much and we are traveling a lot, I've had even subscribers and people online say that they're going to contact TSA and they're going to try and get me arrested at the airport when I try to leave and like all this kind of bullshit.
People are fucked up.
And it does really like make you anxious.
Yeah.
And even coming to Bali, I was anxious about coming here because like we had so many boys coming and I didn't want anyone, including us, to be involved in anything. And doing sex work, you're obviously always a little bit on edge when you're traveling because like there is the potential and the risk to be stopped at security and be questioned about certain things. And you do have to be careful because people know where you are online.
Yeah.
I really tried to avoid posting where I was going until I was here.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to get in trouble or give anyone any reason to try to fuck with us, you know?
People are sick, yeah. Listen, we're here to be fucked, not fucked with, okay?
Period. Okay, look, I think that we can all agree, everyone that's listening and from me to you, there's more for you to tell when it comes to your online feuds. You're kind of, Josh, you're notorious for online feuds.
God.
I don't think I can think of another creator that has been involved in more Twitter feuds ever.
Yeah. I've got some.
You want some juicy fucking stories?
Okay. Oh, okay. Right. There's one of the juiciest ones. I don't know if I should name him by name. He's not really in the industry anymore.
No, don't name names. I don't want to get sued.
Anyway, he's hardly going to be able to sue his situation. Anyway, so I started working for Falcon. Basically, as soon as I came in, there was this other porn star. He was really hot at the time. And he instantly just hated me. I don't know why he hated me. I think he was jealous or something. But he instantly just fucking couldn't stand me. Right? Couldn't stand being around me, nothing. And then I'm a bit of like a Twitter advocate for like good causes and stuff like that. So I said something on Twitter, like I commented under something that was like about gun reform, right? I'm sure there was like a school shooting or something. And I was like, oh my God, America needs to like sort out their gun situation because like so many people are being killed or whatever.
Yeah.
He then comments underneath it, like, I've got 24 fucking guns. And next time I see you, I'm going to fucking use them. I'm going to kill you and all shit like that. And I was like, oh my God, this man is crazy. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, I can't go to America now. I've got a target on my back. Like, what? This is crazy. And then I basically told Falcon, I screenshotted it. And I was like, this is my co-star. Like, this is someone I work with. He's threatening to murder me. And then a few days later, like, he was fired from Falcon. And I was like, whoa. I was like, shit. I was like, as if I didn't have a target on my back already, that now he's going to come find me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still alive, thankfully. But yeah, the last thing I heard was...
But that's really scary.
It is really scary.
Yeah.
People are fucking wild.
Yeah.
And like all from just me saying something that wasn't even to him.
What did you say?
No, I didn't even say anything. I just said about like gun reform or whatever.
Okay.
And then he started going on rants, which were about me. And he said like, I've been here in the industry and I'll be here when you're long gone. I'm always going to be a star. And I'm like, where is he now? He's a crackhead homeless in Palm Springs.
Oh.
So...
Oh.
Where's your guns now? Do you have to sell them for crack?
Oh.
Oh, bless him.
Okay, what else? I need another one.
Need another one. Oh, there was the whole... Oh, you see the whole Billy Santoro drama?
No.
Did you know Billy Santoro?
No.
He was a big porn star or whatever back in the day. And then we started getting into it on Twitter or whatever. And then he posted like a couple of days later of like, it's a very iconic picture and people use it for memes. And it's like him on a hospital bed, like connected to a drip. And he's like hunched over like a baby and saying something like, he had an accident or whatever, when actually it was just like, I don't know, I think he was faking it.
Oh, really? For attention?
Yeah. That sounds like
Damn.
someone else I know.
I think the only other public feud that I had, it was involving the podcast I did.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything to do with OnlyFans, but there was another podcast that was quite popular in Australia at the time. And I guess that was like the rival podcast to mine. And I don't know whether I should say what it was. It doesn't exist anymore. The co-host or the main host of that podcast and I were kind of like going back and forth and sending each other like different memes and reels and like responding to like, I don't think reels were a thing, but like memes and GIFs and all of that kind of stuff back and forth. And just kind of like going at each other back and forth like for that at least a couple of days. And everyone else was piling in and comparing my podcast to theirs. And then he ended up going to Halloween that year dressed as me. He had an inflatable muscle suit on.
Oh, he would need it.
He would need it. He had his makeup done to look like my face. Like he had like pink ready lips and like he had the eyebrows like me. Had the hairstyle.
That's kind of iconic though.
Oh, it's fucking iconic. Yeah. I'm like, if someone's gone dressed as you as Halloween, you kind of made it.
You know you made it.
And he had the logo for the Sydney Gays podcast on a t-shirt.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know that also just shows how much he's actually like stewing in his head over you.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine to like work up a full outfit. Imagine how many times you go around in his head.
I mean, like the concept was executed quite well and I take my hat off to him. And he even posted saying like he didn't mean it in like a mean way, blah, blah, blah. But that was kind of iconic.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah, it's really funny actually.
Really funny, actually.
Really funny, actually.
You know, what would someone dress as me for Halloween? They'll just have cum all over their face.
Probably.
It's just covered in cum.
They just have a suit with like dildos hanging off them or like cum. Or like dildos like, you know.
Dildo Hellraiser.
Literally. Like, what's that? Oh, Medusa.
Yeah.
Like Medusa.
Dildo Medusa.
Dildo Medusa.
Not Dildo Medusa.
So I don't think you really answered as to like if you had ever really considered leaving the industry.
Oh yeah, actually. I mean, I've considered a few times. There was a time when I was quite new in the industry, I think. I started with Lucas Entertainment and I signed a contract and I quickly realized that it was like a really negative, really toxic workspace.
Right.
And so I was stuck in for 2 years then. I just knew I needed to get out. And the boss of that company was like, you're in a contract. Absolutely not. And I was like, I can do whatever I want. Like, you can't force me to have sex with people. Do you know what I mean? And he was like, well, I'm going to make sure that you never work for any reputable porn company ever again.
Oh my God.
So he like he tried his hardest to blacklist me from the whole industry. He sent out an email to every porn studio, every reputable porn studio in the world saying, like, do not work with this. He's a dangerous person. He smokes crystal meth. And I'm like, what? I've never smoked crystal meth in my life. This was just like the most random shit.
Just
like,
making up rumors.
Yeah, just like a total smear campaign of me. And so then every time I would reach out to a porn company to try and get work, they would say, sorry, we can't work with you. You're under contract with Lucas. And I was like, what the fuck? What am I going to do? Like, I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. I was very lucky because it was only, I don't know, there was only about 6 months where I really couldn't get any work. And then Cocky Boys, they took a chance on me because I think they hated him as much as I did. They really, really didn't like him. So they took a chance on me and said, we don't care about whatever he has to say. These contracts are bullshit. The sex contract is not a legal thing at all whatsoever. Even if he wanted to do something or sue, he could never do that. And I'm like, what's he going to do? Extradite me from the UK? What's he going to do? Like get me on a plane to come over to the US to stand trial in court? Absolutely not. With a sex contract that the judge is going to be like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this, like, modern slavery piece of shit? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I have heard that studios are obviously very competitive. And if you work for one, sometimes, for example, if you start at one studio that might be a smaller studio, the other bigger studios won't take you. You kind of have to start at the top, work your way down or something.
I think it used to be a lot like that. But I think nowadays it's very different because studios are a failing industry. And I think they know if you can't get work anywhere else, they can't keep you in a contract. And they know everyone knows that. So the exclusive contracts are more of like a kind of for show kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And they do generally.
And they used to have more power, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They used to have more power because people couldn't earn money any other way. So I think now they have to let people. When the OnlyFans first came out, I remember the studio saying, you can't do that. And I was like, I can do whatever the fuck I want. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm in an exclusive contract with you. That's contract states I can't work with any other studios. Doesn't state that I can't work for myself and create my own videos. So they got in this space for like, I don't know, probably a year where they were like, you can't do OnlyFans, you can't do that. And they soon quickly realized that models were making a lot of money, and they either needed to be in on it and let the models do what they want with this thing, or they just wouldn't get the models. So I think now they even do a lot more of like, if you want to work with another studio, we'll lend you to them and whatever, because they know that people are they can make their own money.
They'll haul you out.
Yeah, they'll haul you out.
But since doing OnlyFans, there's been nothing that has really triggered you wanting to leave? Like, forget about the studio stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I was with my ex-boyfriend and the whole drama came out, there was the articles everywhere. And I got to such a low point that I was like, I just want to quit. And I thought, I really got into my head that, I think he got into my head that my career was only kind of holding on or it was only boosted because he came into it. And that really got into my head. And then the reason I didn't leave him for a while was because I generally believed that. I believed that he was keeping my career afloat.
Yeah.
And when I left him, I was considering leaving porn because I thought, what have I got left? Do you know what I mean? And then, I just had to kind of look in the mirror and be like, you fucking created this. You've been in this industry for what, like 9 years at that point? Like, just remembering that I'm a fucking
And you're
bad
rediscovering
bitch.
your own identity, I guess.
Yes, rediscovering that I have all the power to create my own destiny.
Yeah, and like, you don't need anyone to make it in this industry. That's the best thing about it, really.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't need a studio, you don't need your boyfriend, you don't need a cameraman, you just need a tripod and an iPhone, and you can make it happen. And a dream. Well, that's good. Well, like, I think that you're going to be here for a long time.
I hope so.
I think you've got a really great career. I mean, I've been in the industry for 4 years, but only really like going full time with it in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been anything that's discouraged me. It's only really been positive. And I think as I'm really evolving with my career and meeting, other creators and like working with you and like doing these trips, I'm really starting to just like come into my own when it comes to my identity as a creator, and what I do well and what we do well together on these trips. And I think that if we just are able to replicate that, I really love this lifestyle, and I just want to keep that lifestyle going.
Yeah.
So who knows, there might be something that comes out when we release this podcast, or like people that come for us. And
there's going to be so much hate.
That might be a lot to handle.
Linda, listen, we're prepared. So if you want to spout any hate, you go for it, honey, because the more hate you give us, the better.
Well, I've said to people, I'm like, you know what? It's going to be tough, but at least I've got Josh.
Yeah.
And Josh is a bit of a bulldog.
I am a fucking bulldog. English bulldog.
So I think with like you and I together, there's no one that can, take us down.
No one can stop us.
I can try.
They're not gonna stop us.
I think that's a good time to end the podcast.
Absolutely. This has been In Bed with Jay and Josh, where the sheets are dirty, but the conversation's even dirtier. And we will see you next episode.
Thank you. See you next time. Bye.